Good morning. It's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube. You can also find us on Instagram as well, Temple of Balance. So welcome. What I'm going to be doing today, I'm here today to pull some cards and share some guidance for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's the 10th, 11th, 12th and 13th of September. So welcome. So while you're coming over, I want to send out a big extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons for September, my Pillar of Light members, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. I'm coming to you live now from Tasmania, Australia. I'm sort of right in the middle of the heart-shaped island and up a bit. In the middle and up a bit. And it is Tuesday the 10th of September here, and the time is 8:51 a.m. So welcome. So if you're new to watching, I'm going to be using my Oracle cards. These are cards that I created, and I made two decks here the same size so that I could combine them. So I have Speed of Light Oracle cards and my Animal Kingdom Oracle cards, and I'll be using this deck of 110 cards to find the best cards that the majority of us need for these next 4 days. At the very end of this video, I am going to pull a theme card. So how do I know that I'm going to pull or find the best cards that the majority of us need? The simple answer is because that's my intention. My intention is clear and confident, and that is my intention. So that is what I just have to trust the cards will bring the best cards that we need for these days, the majority of us. So that's my intention. I know my cards because I use them a lot, and I actually made them, so I guess I know them more intimately than most. But practicing using your cards, reading and building up your experience helps build a confidence in your relationship with the cards. So I recommend that you get your cards out and pull some cards for yourself from time to time. Good morning, Colleen and Mary Ann and everybody who's here. Welcome. So I'm going to be using this deck to find the best cards that we need for the days ahead. And I recommend that you take on board what feels right, what resonates with you, and what fits into your life easily. The things that seem like I'm just speaking directly to you, I'd pay attention to those things. I'd also pay attention to the things that I may have a reaction to. So if I'm listening to something and then I go into reaction mode, like it triggers something, then I'll also want to listen to that because I want to know why did that trigger that reaction. So there might be something I need to hear in those sorts of things too. So let's see what happens. Diane, good morning. Welcome. So I'm looking for the best card that the majority of us need for Tuesday the 10th of September. And the best card for the majority of us for the 10th is this. It's a Speed of Light Oracle card. And we have a Purification, card 8. And it says cleanse, detoxification, and toxins. So this is a clearing, cleansing, purging card. This is clearing things out of our system so we can look at this physically, emotionally, mentally. And maybe consider, especially on Tuesday, what's building up, what toxins are gathering or building within us. This could be negative thoughts. It could be overwhelming emotion that we perhaps aren't expressing, or it's building up and the dam's about to burst, or the volcano's about to erupt, that kind of thing. Or are we dealing with something physical that we're trying to shake, some issue, some recovery, some illness, something that we need to flush out of our system? Or are we consuming some things that aren't the best for us and our body is having a not so good reaction? Then we might also want to be looking at what we're ingesting, what are we consuming into our body, What is supporting our body and what isn't? What is our body really struggling to tolerate? And we might want to sort of simplify things in our diet for the next couple of days, drink some extra water, and put toxins aside and just give our body a break from those sorts of things if our body's been feeling not so good. So physically, emotionally, mentally, what needs clearing or purging for you? This is quite internal. And there also might be some things more externally that require looking at and then perhaps some letting go or some purging. So this might be things like a spring clean or clutter around our home or our workplace or our vehicle or our room or wherever it is we spend our time. If things have been collecting and gathering and cluttering, then it might be building up and we might want to do some clearing, do some spring cleaning over the next couple of days. Now, there could also be demands on our time, and we might need to tighten up our boundaries, tighten up our schedule, and tighten up the things that we are doing with our time. We might need to say no. We might need to sort out our schedule a bit or a lot so that we can get into a better rhythm and a better management of our time and or with what we've got going on at this time as well. Maybe there are some unhealthy relationships or friendships or connections with other people that we need to look at and perhaps purge or clear any conflict or anything that needs potentially resolving between us. So we can really expand this cleansing and purging out from an internal place, so physically, mentally, emotionally for us, and also externally, so looking at relationships, our space that we're living or residing in or spending time in, and even areas of our life, our time, the way we spend our time that might need purging. So a good way to probably tell if something needs clearing or not is if it's building up and we feel like we are a volcano about to erupt or a dam about to burst, and we're perhaps feeling overwhelmed. We might need to do something about tightening things or shifting things or clearing things in our life. So cleansing, clearing, increasing our water intake and all that kind of thing for Tuesday. So let's see how we go with that. Thank you very much. Now I'm looking for the best card that the majority of us need for Wednesday, the 11th of September, 2024. So the best card for Wednesday is, I'm about to drop a bunch of cards, so we'll let them go, do a little reshuffle, get the cards into a bit of a new order, and try again. So the best card for the majority of us for Wednesday, the 11th of September, 2024, good morning everybody, is... Let's go with this card. It's an animal kingdom, and we have the Nautilus. The Nautilus is card 39, and interestingly, it says to break negative patterns. So we're now extending this purging, clearing, letting go, purification energy that came up for Tuesday. We're extending that now into Wednesday, because the Nautilus does also imply that we're holding on tightly to something. Now, this is probably more specifically focused on bad habits, addictions, that sort of thing. It could even be that our attitude towards something, even our attitude towards ourselves, can be pretty harmful and harsh. So do you tend to be overly self-critical? Are you being overly negative lately? Have you got into a bad habit with your thinking, with your speaking, with your attitude, or with something that you're consuming, some bad habit or addiction that needs attention? You will know if it needs attention. You're probably nodding right now and saying, yes, I've been meaning to do this. Or this has been at the back of my mind. I just haven't dedicated the time to it yet. Or maybe you have, and this is something that you're undergoing now. So this would be a confirmation for you. So it suggests that there is a hard shell around us and that we're giving our power away to this negative thing, this bad habit, this negative pattern. So it's probably consuming us more than we realise, and this energy is coming around again. What is consuming us, or what are we consuming, or what is consuming us that is taking our power away? So when we take our power away, it's draining, and we tend to have other things on our mind that are quite potentially external. Could be other people that we're a bit obsessed about right now, or a lot, or it could be some addiction or some habit that we're practicing that is pulling us away from ourselves. So when we give our power away, we're sort of handing over our power to others or something else, and it drains us. So we might find, when that's sort of in play quite loudly, we might find our mind thinking a lot about this other person or this other thing. It's like almost an obsession, or perhaps it is an obsession. And we might even be, I find, like being in the spiritual sort of psychic realm of things with my work, I do find quite a few people do tend to give their power away to you to answer questions and guide them in their life, which is one of the big reasons I tend to not do readings for people in general, is because that does tend to bring out this desperation and this handing their power over to you. You know, what colour underwear should I wear? That kind of thing. And these sorts of just ridiculous things that are not important. So are you giving your power away? And, you know, don't be ashamed about that, because we all go through phases of doing this. And I think it's important to assess whether we are or not, and what are we giving our power away to. Could be the past, it could be the future. We might be giving our power away to some traumatic thing that happened 10 or 20 years ago that we can't get past. Well, that would be the same sort of thing. We're giving our power away to that thing or that situation or that person that hurt us or betrayed us in the past. We can also give our power away to the future and just be so future-driven and so unrealistically future-driven that can also take our power away from us in this moment. So the idea is it's the opposite of being present in the here and now, and bringing our energy and our attention here into our body, here to our breath, here into the weight of our body wherever we're sitting or standing or laying, and just taking some deep breaths. And what I like to do is imagine detaching from all those things that pull on me, from the past, from the future, from other people, from things I have to do, from any sort of addictions or bad habits that I have. I actually imagine cutting ties and cutting those attachments. And sometimes I literally imagine I have a big pair of scissors and I just snip all of these cords from around me and snip them off and snip them away. Because I need to be as fully present as I can be in my body, in the here and now, and with the tasks that I'm actually doing in my life. If I'm giving my power away to something I'm worried about or something I'm obsessing about, then I'm only partly doing the tasks that I need to do in the everyday of my life. So if I'm 50% thinking about some whatever that might be what I'm giving my power away to, then I'm only about 50% or even less focused on the job that I'm doing right now, like doing this video. So I have to be fully present, and to be fully present means that I don't have energy and power that I'm giving away to other things that are outside of this moment, my body, my breath right now, and what I'm doing now. So there's something very grounding about this, but on the opposite of that, there is something very disempowering about the energy that we are just kind of letting go everywhere. So it almost feels like taking responsibility, really owning what we've got going on and reining things back, reeling things back, bringing things back here closer to us so that we're not draining ourselves so much and probably feeling quite out of balance with all the stuff we've got going on. So let's keep boundaries up. Let's be firm in our stance, but also let's break and cut those negative habits or addictions, or the things where we are giving our power away, and working out where's the balance here, where's the boundary here that works for us. The way I keep my boundaries up will be different to the way you do. So we work out the way that's right for us based on our personality and our life itself. And being confident with what we decide is also very empowering. So where is your power sitting at the moment? What have you been thinking about or been consumed by? Is it healthy and supportive for you? Or do you need to make some choices and some adjustments to yourself, your attitude, your thinking, your words, to bring things back closer to the present moment. So breaking negative habits, breaking the shell, and returning our power, our energy, our life force back to us so that we can do the task that we need to do with 100% energy, which includes tending to our relationships and things like that, including our relationship with ourselves. So that's for Wednesday. It's quite intense already. So lots of clearing and purging and really looking honestly at ourselves physically, emotionally, mentally. Where are we at? So Thursday, the 12th of September, I'm looking for the best card now. And that is the best card for Thursday, the 12th of September, for the majority of us, is this. It's a Speed of Light Oracle card. And we have the Unicorn. So card 50. I don't know, I thought I said that funny. The Unicorn. It says psychic gifts, spiritual intuition, and trust. So first of all, this card highlights our spirituality. So our spiritual things, the things that are important to us personally on a spiritual or even religious level. So I've noticed that over the last 2 days, for Tuesday and Wednesday, not 2 days physically, but what I've just been talking about, I've talked about the physical, the mental, the emotional. I haven't added spiritual into that because I haven't felt that I needed to. But here comes the spiritual now on Thursday. So we've been encouraged, and perhaps after we clear the things out, and I feel like after we clear the storm, and it's probably our own personal storm, we might think that it is someone else's fault or this person's to blame. This is all part of that giving our power away. But perhaps once we realise that actually we're the ones walking around with the storm, and we may be contributing, we're likely contributing more to this storm than we realised. So once we clear that and we get out of the storm and we return our energy and our power back to our body, we return back to the present moment and back to our body, back to our breath, there is this sense then that we'll be perhaps less distracted by all the things that have been pulling and tugging on us, and more able to connect with spirit. It's very difficult to connect with spirit and our spirituality and however we define that for ourselves. It's very difficult to do that when our energy's been pulled in all different directions and we're about to blow like a volcano because things have been building for so long, or they're just at that critical point. So our spirituality calls us, and we might find that we want to get out our spiritual tools. We may even want to get out our journal and define for ourselves, what does it mean? What does spirituality mean for us? So how would you define your connection to spirit? What is spirit? And what do you mean by connection, or whatever it is that you write down, and really work out what this definition is. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be something that you've read or what you think someone else might say, but how you truly feel inside. So connecting inside, connecting into your body, your heart, connecting in with your intuition, and working out what is this spirituality of yours, and how can you, once you define it, then maybe think about how can I better practice my spirituality. Does it mean stepping into nature more? Does it mean more meditation time? Does it mean going to church? What does it mean for you? How do you nourish your spirit? Also, this card is about our third eye chakra here, which is where the alicorn is of the unicorn. This is really emphasizing the third eye, and the third eye chakra, I find, or has quite a few different keywords we could say, but a big aspect of it is trust. Being able to trust in our intuition, and trust in where we're going, and trust in perhaps where we are now. That might be a hard pill to swallow if we're not happy or we're not content. Wow, there's throat chakra energy moving too. So there might be something that we need to say or admit to ourselves. Maybe we need to listen to how we feel, listen to our intuition, and just maybe feel upon all elements and aspects of our life at this time see what's feeling right, what's not quite feeling right. And if it's not quite feeling right, what adjustments and changes can we make? Are there doors that we need to potentially close? So we can trust in our intuition, we can trust in where we are, but also if we're suffering where we are, is there something that we need to shift to move towards that place that we want to be in? What is the place that you want to be in? If you're not happy now, or you're not content now, or you're being challenged now, why is that not the right place for you? And what could you describe as better? And getting clear about these things of what we do want and what we don't want can be really empowering. Is it something that's just something that tends to follow you around? Things tend to follow us around. We might want to run from this and run from that because of this other person's the problem, but we seem to keep attracting the same types of people, the same types of problems. So the one common thread in that is us. So then this comes back to the other cards. We need to look closely at ourselves in the next couple of days. Stop externalizing, stop giving our power away to others and say that person's to blame for me feeling like this. No, we're reacting in some way. What do we need to shift and adjust within ourselves so we can see the situation clearly and how it really is? So Thursday, the unicorn. So our spirituality calls us, and we're being encouraged to trust in our intuition and build that trust. It takes time to build. It's not something that we just get overnight. So it takes time and experience and practice to build a trust in our intuition. So now Friday the 13th of September, we will be focusing on the third eye chakra actually on Friday for my online art class. It's the third eye chakra time. So if you're interested in that and you'd like to dive deeper into that particular chakra, you may like to join me for my online art class. You can find more about it on my website if you're interested. So the best card for Friday the 13th is this. It's an Animal Kingdom Oracle card. Speaking of love and speaking of relationships, we have the Penguins, card 37. And it says an unbreakable bond. So this is talking about an unbreakable bond or connection that we have with another person. So this might be someone, usually this comes up when it's someone that we're not living with. So it could be a distant relationship, or it could be someone who's in spirit. I've seen it come up for this type of relationship too, or this type of connection quite often. So it's highlighting this. If you're missing someone that you feel a strong bond or connection with, then this is just reminding you of that special bond that cannot be broken. It cannot be severed by time or space or even death. So feel peace in your heart to know that that bond is unbreakable. This is also highlighting our relationships and tending to our relationships that are important to us. Making a phone call, dropping in to visit, sending a message, spending time with the people that are important to us. Because as we all know, time slips by so quickly, and before we know it, a month turns into 6 months, it turns into a year, and may even turn into years before we actually connect with someone who's important to us. So let's try and make the effort to maintain our relationships. And as we clear the stuff and get our power back, as we connect again to spirit and feel that nourishment of spirit, or nourishment in our spirit, or spiritual nourishment, then we might also find that we feel, because when we connect with spirit, that's like that can help support our connections in our relationships across the board in our life. So with a spiritual connection, like re-plugging back in spiritually, we might find that we just have this urge to reconnect with people in our life. So I wouldn't be surprised on Friday, or if earlier, around that time period, that we reach out to people we haven't spoken to for a while, or people that are important to us. Hey, let's meet up for a cuppa. Let's do whatever it is that we do together. So relationships important on Friday. So that's that. It feels like a lot, actually. So an overview is, let's cleanse, let's clear, let's purge, let's detach from things that are addictive or are negative for us or that take our power away. Let's return our energy back to our body, our heart, our breath, this present moment. Let's reconnect to spirit. Let's activate our intuition and listen to it more so we can build our ability to trust in it. And let's put some effort into our relationships. All relationships require effort. If we don't put effort into relationships, including our relationship with ourselves, but also our closest relationships, they all require effort to maintain. We have to be an active part of that if we want to maintain our relationships. Friendships, lovers, family, any type of relationship needs effort to be maintained. So lots of stuff going on. So thank you for joining me. I am going to pull a theme card in just a moment, which I'm very interested to see, as usual, but especially for now. So thanks for joining me. If you have enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button. Please show us some love. Please comment. Please share if you're inspired to. And if you'd prefer to connect more privately, then please send us a message through our website. If you'd like to learn more about my cards, if you'd like to start working with these as well, you can combine them or you can work with them separately. You can learn more about them on my website. Also, we have the card reading club. My card reading club happens once a month. That's happening on Thursday. And we're looking at actually how to I forget the exact words, but it's something about connecting or reconnecting or acknowledging, how to connect with the knowledge of our spiritual team or our spiritual ancestors, that sort of thing. So we'll be doing that on Thursday, playing with the cards. And Friday is my online art class with the third eye chakra. We're going to be diving into that. So if you'd like to learn more about any of those things or the work I do here at Temple of Balance, then please visit templeofbalance.com.au. Okay, let's grab the best theme card. So the best theme card that the majority of us need for Tuesday the 10th of September through till Friday the 13th of September 2024 is this. It's a Speed of Light Oracle card. And it is card 1, Boundaries. This is actually quite hilarious because each card I pull seems to sort of overflow from something that I've said before. It's boundaries. It says truth, protection, courage, and bravery. Okay, so courage and bravery, let's explore those first. It takes strength and confidence and a sense of not overthinking but just doing it to break those negative patterns, break those addictions, to bring our power back. We have to say no in some instances, depending on the situation. We have to say no, or we have to say, look, I just can't do this anymore. This is too much for me. And we just have to put some walls up, put some boundaries up to protect ourselves, but also to help us maintain and, well, find first and then hopefully maintain our balance. We can't do everything. We can't do everything even that we want to do. So sometimes we have to draw the line. We might really want to do this thing, but we have to do this thing and that's more important. So we have to draw the line. We have to close the door. So it does take strength to do this because we have to confidently pick and choose what we want to give our time and attention to. We cannot do everything. So as new things come in, old things have to go. And sometimes old things have to go so new things can come in. So it's just part of life is what I've noticed. So we have to be strong with the lines that we draw. And when we say no, or, you know, I'm not doing this anymore, or put some boundaries in place. I'm not available now 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I will help you on Tuesdays, you know, that sort of thing. So instead of being so loose with our time, we might need to draw the line and say, right, this is what I will help you with, or what I will allow, what I do have time for, because our balance is important. So courage and bravery to do those sorts of things. But strengthening our boundaries might be important over these next few days. And probably it seems to me like a redefining of our boundaries. So we might first break our boundaries down. If I imagine my boundaries being like a farm fence, which is how I tend to imagine my boundaries to be, I'm kind of thinking with the energy that's around, I might want to just totally demolish my whole farm fence. Just like get all those boundaries down and out. And then rebuild some new boundaries based on where I am in my life today. How my body feels today or at this time. What I've got going on. And what can I fit into my life? What can I not fit into my life anymore? Things change. As things change, then our boundaries and what we have time for changes. So it almost feels to me like this ripping down of our boundaries and reassembling or rebuilding something that works for us today. The boundaries we might be working on might have worked for us a month ago or a year ago or 5 years ago, but I don't know that they work for us now. We might put some of the things back up again, but it sort of feels like just clearing it and starting afresh. That's the feeling. So what do you need to enforce? What boundaries need to be in play for you? And how can you enforce them? It takes strength to enforce them. Otherwise, we go back to how it was before. So we have to stand our ground. And we have to say no to some people that demand things of our time that we allow. So I trust this helps you. It's quite intense, actually, and quite internal. So we might do a lot of thinking, a lot of reflecting on things this week. Thanks for joining me. I feel like I've been talking for ages. So have a great day and have a great few days. And I look forward to connecting with you again soon. And maybe I'll see you on Thursday for the card reading club or on Friday for the online art class. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day.